Hello and welcome to my channel CBSE Simplified, and my name is Anupam Mishra. Today we are going to discuss this chapter of class 9th English NCERT textbook, and the name of the chapter is The Lost Child. This story is written by one of the most famous Indian poet and writer and essayist and novelist also, Mr. Mulk Raj Anand. He was born in Pakistan in 1904 and he died in the year of 2004, I suppose. And this is a very famous story. Let's read this story and see what this story is all about. A child goes to a fair. Fair means mela. A child goes to a fair with his parents. He is happy and excited and wants the sweets and toys displayed there, but his parents don't buy them for him. And why then does he refuse when someone else offers them to him? So like I said, this is a story about a child who goes to a fair. Fair means mela, along with his parents. So when he goes to this fair, he was very happy and he was very excited, and like all other children, he wanted to buy each and everything that was displayed for sale there, whether it was sweet, whether it was toys, whether it was garland or just anything else. He just wanted to buy each and everything. But later on something happens in the story. There is a twist in the story that we will read when we actually read. I will go ahead and read every paragraph, every line for you, and try to explain each line and as much as possible. And if you have any questions, you can ask me questions by sending me the messages in the message box. And please subscribe my channel, and if you have any kind of suggestions for it, please let me know about it. So let's begin. So it was the festival of spring. From the wintry shades of narrow lanes and alleys emerged a gaily clad humanity. Some walked, some rode on horses, others sat and being carried in bamboo and bullock carts. One little boy ran between his father's legs, brimming over with life and laughter. So this was the story set in a village, and it is a scene of a fair which was being organized in a village, and the time is of spring. Spring comes just after the summer is over, and it is the beginning of the winter season. So it was a festival of spring. As we can understand, the atmosphere was very pleasant, and from the wintry shades of the narrow lanes and alleys, lanes means galiyan, alleys means raste, emerged a gaily means happy, clad means covered, and humanity means the population. The humanity means the human population. So it was a wintry day, and from the narrow lanes and from the narrow gullies, the writer noticed that people were very happy, and the entire area was filled with happy people. Some were walking, some were riding on the horses, others were sitting in the bamboo and bullock carts also. And a little boy, he was running between his father's legs, and he was full of joy and laughter. He was so excited and so happy, like I said, that he was full of laughter and joy. If you can see this picture, you can understand what I am talking about. This is the little boy that we are talking about in the story, and his mother and his father, and you can see the whole atmosphere. The background of this story belongs to a village. So this is a fair. Fair in Hindi is called mela. So this boy, see the kind of excitement you can see on his face. "Come, child, come," called his parents as he lagged behind, fascinated by the toys in the shop that lined the way. So he was going into the fair, and he was walking through the streets, and every time he would notice anything being sold in the shop, so he would stop there for some time, and he will look at these toys because he wanted to buy them. He was very fascinated, very attracted, and very excited to buy them. But every time he stops there, his parents say, "No, don't stop there. You have to come with me. Otherwise, you will lag behind." मतलब हिंदी में कहते हैं पीछे रह जाओगे. He hurried towards his parents, his feet obedient to their call, his eyes still lingering on the receding toys. As he came to where they had stopped to wait for him, he could not suppress the desire of his heart, even though he well knew the old and cold stare of refusal in their eyes. So when his parents called him, "Okay, don't stop there at the toy shop. You need to come and follow us, because otherwise you will lag behind." So when he was walking away, he was looking at these toys, the toys that were being sold at the shops. So the parents were actually sitting at one place, and they were waiting for this boy to come and join them. So when he met his parents, he asked this question if he would be allowed to buy any of the toys from the toy shop. But he was very much aware, and if he asked this kind of question to his parents will definitely refuse. His parents will say no to buy any kind of toys or anything from that fair. So he was aware of it. But still he pleaded means requested. The boy requested, I want that toy. He said, I want to buy this toy. I want to purchase it. His father looked at him red-eyed. His father was very angry. Red-eyed means he was very angry. In his familiar tyrant way, his mother, melted with the free spirit of the day, was tender, and giving him her finger to hold, and said, look, child, what is before you. So in comparison to father, we can understand that father was a very strict man. He was very angry. His eyes were red just because of the anger, and he straightforwardly said no, that he's not going to buy anything to this boy. But his mother was a very soft-hearted and very kind lady. So when she looked at this scene and she understood the situation, she gave her finger to this little boy to hold and said, okay, don't wait there. Okay, let's move forward. So they go from there. It was a flowering mustard field, pale like melting gold, as it swept across miles and miles in the land. So when the child looked at here and there on both sides of the road, the whole ground, the whole place was filled with mustard field. We understand mustard in Hindi called sarson, which is yellow in color, and it looked like it was like a melted gold, and it was, miles and miles away of Evelyn. It was spread all over the place. So wherever he looked only and only one thing, that was the mustard field, which was pale yellow in color. A group of dragonflies were bustling about in their gaudy purple wings. Gaudy means proudy or attractive. So apart from this mustard field, when he looked up towards the sky, he noticed that there was a group of dragonflies. They were running here and there. They were running here then in the groups, and they were showing their proudy, or we can say attractive purple wings, intercepting the flight of a lone black bee or butterfly in search of sweetness from the flowers. As we know that these insects, these flying insects, they go here and there because they are always in the search of those flowers from where they can actually get the sweet things. All right, to prepare the food for their young ones. The child followed them in the air with his gaze, till one of them would still its wings and rest, and he would try to catch it. So the boy started following these dragonflies and these butterflies also, because he wanted to catch them. So he waited there for some time because he wanted this butterfly to be still and sit somewhere and rest, so that he can actually go ahead and catch the butterfly. But it would go fluttering, flapping up into the air. But when he had almost caught it in his hands, then his mother gave a cautionary call, come child, come onto the food pot. So when he was just about to catch the butterfly, he was waited for that butterfly to sit somewhere for some time. When he actually got there, and the moment he was just trying to catch this butterfly, he got a call from his mother, and the mother said, okay, child, do not wait there. We need to go ahead. We are just wasting time. So you leave everything and you just follow us. So what this child did, he ran towards his parents gaily. Gaily means happily, and walked abreast. Abreast means in Hindi it is called aage nikalna kisi cheez se. Of them for a while, being however soon left behind, attracted by the little insects and worms along the footpath. They were teeming out from their hiding places to enjoy the sunshine. Like I said, the atmosphere was very pleasant, and since it was the end of summer and it was the beginning of winter season, so that is why we call it spring season. So apart from this, so he was very happy, he was very excited, and soon he noticed there were some little insects, and there were some worms which were wriggling onto the footpath also, and they were just coming out from their places of their hides. You can understand these insects and these worms, they live in certain places inside the earth, they make holes there and they just live there. So when the weather is pleasant, they sometimes they come out to enjoy the sunshine, the sunny weather. Come child come, his parents called from the shade of a grove where they had seated themselves on the edge of a well. He ran towards them. So his parents, they went ahead, and they were sitting at one place, and that one place was actually a well. Even well in Hindi is called kuan. So they were sitting there. They were just waiting for this child to come forward and join these two people. So the boy comes and joins his parents. Now what happens in the story? A shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered the grove. Grove is kind of a, you can understand, you can call it it's kind of a garden which has number of trees and number of flowers, very beautiful flowers. We can, in Hindi it is called bagicha. So what this child noticed, he noticed there was a grove, and when he entered the grove, he forgot everything. He began to gather the raining petals in his hands. So when he entered the grove, like I said in Hindi, it is called Phoolon ka bagicha. So when he entered the grove, he noticed that the petals are called the leaves of the plants, and the flowers, they were dropping down to the earth. So he started collecting those petals in his hands. But lo here means look. He heard the cooing of doves. Cooing of doves is a sound which is produced by dove. Dove is a water animal, white in color, and ran towards his parents, shouting, the dove, and the raining petals dropped from his forgotten hands. Forgotten hands is a word which is used for this boy because he was so engrossed in this kind of atmosphere. He was so excited, he was so happy that he forgot almost everything, and he was very much excited to see this dove, and he started shouting, the dove. Perhaps he wanted to show this to his parents because he was very happy, and he forgot just each and everything there. Come child come, they called to the child, who had now gone running in wild capers round the banyan tree, and gathering him up, they took the narrow winding footpath which led to the fair through the mustard field. So the parents called him one last time, okay child, do not wait, we have to go forward and we have to join the crowd, we have to see the fair also. So the boy, he started just following them through the mustard field. There was like a kacha rasta, so they were walking on that kacha rasta because they were going towards the direction of the fair. So as they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths full of throngs converging to the whirlpool of the fair. Whirlpool is a kind of a circular motion. If you have ever noticed in washing machine, when you put a lot of water in the washing machine and switch it on, how the water moves in a circular direction. This is called the whirlpool. So what he noticed when they came near to the village, they could see there were number of people. They were what these number of people were doing, they were actually going towards the fair. So it looked like it was kind of a whirlpool of the people who were just trying to assemble at one place, and felt at once repelled and fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. So the boy was not only excited, but he was very confused also. He was very fascinated. Fascinated here means attracted. So he was attracted by the crowd because he wanted to go and join this crowd. He wanted to see each and everything in the fair. He was also confused because he had no idea as to what he was going to see in the fair. So that is why he was confused. See, this is a story about a village, about a fair. So the kind of setting the writer has in the story is of a village. So most of the words, since the story is written by an Indian writer, so the most of words that you come across, you will see there are many words which are written in Hindi. These are actually Hindi words, and why he has not translated those Hindi words into English? Because the meaning might perhaps change. So these words are translated from Hindi to Hindi, it's just that they are written in English. So like I said, barfi, there is no English substitute for barfi in English. Similarly, rasgulla is an Indian sweet dish. There is no English word for rasgulla. There is no proper English word. Same goes with gulab jamun. Same goes with jalebi also. So that is why the writer has deliberately used these words so that we, as an Indian, understand as to what all things were being sold in this fair. So what he noticed there, the first thing, a sweetmeat seller hawked means if you have gone to any fair, nowadays these kind of fairs have become a thing of past. They do not exist. Even if they exist, they are very limited, and you will find these fairs at very limited places, and especially in towns and villages only. Because nowadays there are multiplexes. Okay, people love to go to multiplexes. They want to spend their time in cinema. They want to go to other places also. We call them malls in big cities like Delhi and Mumbai. So what happened in this fair? A sweetmeat seller, a person who was selling sweet, was calling their customers, and he was just telling them the names of the sweets that he was selling, and it included gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi, jalebi, and so on and so forth. At the corner of the entrance, and the crowd pressed round his counter at the foot of an architecture of many colored sweets, decorated with the leaves of silver and gold. So he was not only selling these Indian mithais also, but it looked like the entire crowd was actually rushing to this sweet seller. It looked like as if everyone wanted to buy these sweets, and they were actually decorated. They were decorated with the leaves of silver and gold. It's a fine paper of leaf, silver and gold, which is used to decorate the sweets. The child stared open-eyed, and his mouth watered for barfi, that was his favorite sweet. I want that barfi, he slowly murmured, but he half knew as he begged that his plea would not be heeded, because his parents would say he was greedy. So he, without waiting for an answer, moved on. So barfi was his favorite dish. We can understand that as a boy his favorite dish was barfi. He wanted to buy it, but he already knew that if he asked his parents to buy the piece of barfi for him, he would know that he plea means in English request, and heeded means ka matlab to pay attention to something. See, he was already aware that his request will not be paid attention by the parents. That means the parents will not pay any attention to his request. So he already knew it, and he already knew the answer also, that his parents will say that the boy had become very greedy, lalchi. So without waiting for an answer, he just moved on from there. He did not wait. On the next stop, there was a flower seller. A garland of gulmer. Gulmer is a white color flower. A garland of gulmer. The child seemed irresistibly drawn. He went towards the basket where the flowers lay heaped, and half murmured, I want that garland, but he well knew his parents would refuse to buy him those flowers because they would say that they were cheap. So without waiting for an answer, he moved on. So on the next stop there was a flower seller, and he was selling a garland of gulmer. Garland means in Hindi is mala. So the boy thought, okay, this time he can at least buy this garland of gulmer, and his parents will not say no. But the writer says he already was aware that his parents would say, no, this is something very cheap, you should not buy it. So without waiting for an answer, he did not even ask his parents, because he already knew that the parents will refuse. So he just did not wait for anything. He just did not stop there. He just moved on from there. Next, a man stood holding a pole with yellow, red, green and purple balloons flying from it. A child was simply carried away by the rainbow glory of the silken colors, and he was filled with an overwhelming desire to possess them all. So at the next place there was a balloon seller, and he was holding a pole, and in this pole there were several different kinds of balloons that he was selling. It was red, green, purple and yellow, all kind of balloons he was selling. So he was very much attracted by these colors of this balloon. As a child, you can understand children, they are fascinated, they are attracted by these toys and balloons. Anything which is colorful, they are normally attracted towards them. So in this story also, he wanted to buy all the balloons, because he knows at least his parents would not say that they will not buy these balloons for him. Perhaps this time they can pay attention to his request and just buy some balloons for him. But the writer says he was aware that his parents will again say no, and the kind of excuse that they will give to this child, they will say that you have become quite old, now you have become quite old, so do not buy these kind of toys like balloons, you are too old for these toys, you are not a kid. So he did not wait there, he just walked on further, और आगे चला गया. Next, what he noticed, a snake charmer, in Hindi it is called sapera, stood playing a flute to a snake which coiled itself in a basket, its head raised in a graceful bend like a neck of a swan. Swan in Hindi is called Hans. While the music stole into his invisible ears like the gentle rippling of an invisible waterfall, the child went towards the snake charmer, but knowing his parents had forbidden him to hear such coarse music as the snake charmer played, he proceeded further. So at the next place, he noticed there was a snake charmer, जिनको हम सपेरा बोलते हैं. So what he was doing, he was actually displaying some snakes. Those snakes were kept in a basket. So this snake charmer was actually playing some kind of music on this bean. Bean actually it's a Hindi word. It was an instrument which was discovered in India. So bean, there is no English word for it. So the kind of music which it was producing, it had attracted this snake, and it was standing like its head had raised up like a neck of a swan, जैसे हंस की गर्दन होती है. So the snake was standing like it. And as we all know that these snakes, they cannot hear because they do not have the pair of ears. Therefore they cannot hear, they cannot listen. The only way by which they are attracted is just the movement of that bean. It's not the sound that they hear, it's just the movement of the bean through which they are attracted. So he stood there for some time. He was waiting, and he thought, okay, his parents will actually scold him because he had already told this boy that he should not listen to this kind of music which is produced by a bean, which are kept by the saperas. So there was a roundabout in full swing. Men, women and children carried away in a whirling motion, shrieked and cried with dizzy laughter. The child watched them intently, and then he made a bold request. I want to go to the roundabout, please, father, mother. So next thing, he found a roundabout. Roundabout is, in Hindi it's called jhula. So it was a very crowded place because a lot of men and women and children, they were just going there. Everyone wanted to get on these roundabouts and just wanted to have some fun and joy. So this boy stood there for some time, and this time he thought, if I ask my parents that I want to have a ride on this roundabout, please allow me to go, because he thought this time his parents would not say no. So when he said, okay, parents, my father and mother, I want to go and want to have a ride on this roundabout, there was no reply. All of a sudden, now see, this is the twist in the story. So when he looked back, there was no reply. Earlier, the parents were actually there with him, but all of a sudden what had happened, he turned to look at his parents, they were not there ahead of them. He turned to look on either side, they were not there. He looked behind, and there was no sign of them. So all of a sudden what had happened, his parents got separated from him somehow. Maybe because of the crowd, they lost direction, they lost a track of this child, or the child lost a track of his parents. He tried to find his parents everywhere, in north, south, east, west, all the direction, this side, that side, left side, right side. He looked everywhere, but he was not able to find the parents. Now you can understand and imagine the situation. And when a child like him, he was just a small child, and he had lost his parents, how nervous he might have felt, you can just imagine this. A deep cry rose within his dry throat, and with a sudden jerk of body, he ran from where he stood, crying in real fear, "Mother, father." Tears rolled down from his eyes, hot and fierce. His flushed face was convulsed with fear. So he was absolutely shocked. He had no idea where his parents had gone. So he started shouting. His throat had become completely dried, and he just ran from there where he was standing. He was really frightened, and he was in a state of fear. He started calling his father and mother. He was shrieking, he was shouting, and he started crying also. And he was panic stricken. He was very frightened. Panic stricken means he was डरा हुआ था. He ran from one side to the other, from that side to the other side, either in all the directions, knowing not where to go. So this boy was absolutely confused. He had no idea where he should go and find his parents. He went left, he went to right, he went in all the directions, but he was not able to find his parents. And he wailed. He started crying. He became absolutely nervous. So what happened? His yellow turban came untied and clothes became muddy. So the turban that he was wearing, he was a turban means safa ya pagdi. He was wearing a yellow colored turban. It became dirty and his clothes became muddy. They also became dirty. Having run to and fro in the rage of running for a while, he stood defeated, his cries suppressed into sobs, and the little distance on the green grass he could see, though his filmy eyes, men and women talking. He tried to look intently among the patches of the bright yellow clothes, but there was no sign of his father and mother among these people. So what he did, he was running here and there, and he, just because of this running here and there, he became absolutely tired. And earlier he was crying, now he became very much tired and he started sobbing. Sobbing means in Hindi is called subakke rona. So at one place he noticed there was a group of men, women, they were standing there. He tried to look at this group and tried to find out if he could see his father and mother in among those people, but it was vain, it was completely useless. The crowd, the people, the men and women, they were talking to each other, they were laughing, they were enjoying, but the boy was not able to find his parents into that crowd. So you can imagine this, how terrific this situation could have been. So he ran quickly again, this time to a shrine to which people seemed to be crowding. Every little inch of space here was congested with men, but he ran through the people's slack, his little sob lingering, mother and father. Near the entrance of the temple, however, the crowd became very thick. Men jostled each other, heavy men with flashing and murderous eyes and hefty shoulders. So what he noticed? He noticed that there was a shrine. Shrine is called, it's like when you go to Vaishno Devi, the Vaishno Devi is actually a shrine, जिसको कहते हैं गुफा. So he looked at a shrine and he noticed that a lot of people were actually going over there. So he thought his parents might be there. So when he reached there, he found that the whole area was very, very much crowded. And since he was a little boy, so he started running. He went into the crowd and he just trying to look for his father and mother. Near the entrance of the temple, he saw that there was a heavy crowd, and there was many people who were actually very heavy in size. They were just jostling each other. Jostling in Hindi का मतलब होता है हिंदी में धक्का मुक्की करना. They were jostling here and there, and they were looking very, very aggressive also. The poor child struggled to thrust away between their feet, but knocked to and fro by their brutal movements, he might have been trampled underfoot had he not shrieked at the highest pitch of his voice, mother and father. So he was just about to be trampled over by the people. Trampled over means to run, to crush under the feet of somebody. So he was just about to be crushed under the feet of the crowd. He started shouting that he wanted to see his mother and his father. Suddenly a man came from somewhere. All of a sudden a man appeared in the crowd, and he just went down and he just picked up this child who was just almost lying onto the ground, and he was about to be crushed by the footsteps of the people who were actually gathered there. He asked this question. He lifted this boy up. So he picked up this boy who was just about to be trampled by the footstep of the people who were gathered there. He asked this question: "How did you get here, child? Whose baby are you?" The man asked. As he steered clear of the mass, the child wept more bitterly than ever now and only cried, "I want my mother, I want my father." So this man seems to be a very, very, very passionate and very kind-hearted person. When he picked up this boy, he actually rescued this boy. He asked questions as to about his name, and he just wanted to know how he actually came there, and he wanted to know about his parents. But the boy did not reply. He was just in a state of shock. He did not answer any of the question, but he kept on crying, and he just kept on saying one thing, that he wanted to meet his father and his mother. The man tried to soothe him by taking him to the roundabout. "Will you have a ride on the horse?" he gently asked as he approached the ring. The child's throat tore into 1,000 shrill sobs, and he only shouted, "I want my mother, I want my father." So now you see, now the situation changes, and now you understand this is the irony of the situation. So this man, what he does, in the reverse order, he takes this boy to each and every shop where he had already gone. He wanted to buy each and everything in the beginning. He wanted to buy the sweets, he wanted to buy the balloon, he wanted to see the snake charmer, he wanted to buy the garland of the flowers also, he wanted to have a ride on the roundabout. So this man takes this little boy to all these places which he had already visited. So now at first place he takes this boy to the roundabout and asks this question, do you want to have a ride on the horse? But the boy did not answer. He kept on shouting and crying and shouting and crying. The only one thing that he was chanting, that he wanted to see his father, he wanted to see his mother. The man headed towards the place where the snake charmer still played on flute on the swaying cobra. Listen to that nice music, child, he pleaded, but the child shut his ears with the fingers and shouted his double-pitched strain, I want my mother, I want my father. So now this man takes this little boy to the same snake charmer who was still playing that flute, or you can call it Indian bean, bansuri. And now this man asks this little boy, okay, look at this music, how nice this music is, how beautiful this music is. Do you want to hear that music? But the child did not reply anything at all. He just put his fingers into his ears and just shut his ears, and he kept on shouting only one thing, that he wanted to his mother, he wanted to meet his father. Now what the man does, the man takes him to the balloon seller and asks, and the man thinks that the boy might be fascinated or attracted by the colors of these balloons and he might buy one of those. So what he does, the man took him near the balloons, thinking the bright colors of the balloons would distract the child's attention and quieten him. So the man thought, since the man was a very kind-hearted and very genuine person, he was really very kind-hearted and lovable person. So he thought, if he takes this little boy to the balloon seller, this boy might be distracted, because he had already lost his mind. He was very frightened also, he was very nervous, he was in a state of shock. So this man thought, okay, if I buy him some balloons, his mind would be distracted and he will be pacified. So would you like a rainbow colored balloon, he persuasively asked. The child turned his eyes from the flying balloons and just stopped. I want my mother, I want my father. The child did not even look at the balloons at all, because he was not attracted. The only thing that he had in his mind was his parents. At any cost he wanted to see his parents. So he kept on crying and sobbing that he did not want anything. He did not even want to look at those balloons at all. He just wanted to meet his father and mother. The man did his best. He was still trying his best, because he wanted to make this child very happy. He wanted to make this child feel comfortable. So he was just doing his part. He was just doing his best. The man, still trying to make the child happy, bore him to the gate where the flower seller said, look, can you smell those nice flowers, child? Would you like a garland to put around your neck? So now at the next place, this man takes this boy to the same garland seller who was selling flowers and garlands. Now this man asked this question, do you want to look at these flowers? See how nice these flowers smell. Do you want to shall I go ahead and buy a garland for you? Do you want to put this garland around your neck? And the boy did not answer the question. He did not even look at the garland at all, but he reiterated. Reiterated means here in English repeated. He kept on sobbing and sobbing. The only thing that he was saying, that he wanted to meet his father, he wanted to meet his mother. Thinking to humor his disconsolate charge by a gift of sweet, the man took him to the counter of the sweet shop. What sweets would you like, child? He asked. The child turned his face from the sweet shop and only sobbed, I want my father, I want my mother. So you can see the irony. The things which had attracted this boy earlier, he wanted to buy and possess each and everything in the beginning of the story. But in the next of things changed. The moment he lost his parents, his interest changed dramatically. Now the things that he wanted, earlier he wanted to buy, he wanted to possess all of them. Those things did not interest him at all. The only thing that he wanted at the moment was he wanted to be reunited with his parents. So at the last thing, what this man did, he took this little boy to the sweet shop and asked this question to this boy, do you want to have some kind of sweets? The child even did not look at the sweet shop, but he kept on sobbing that he wanted to meet his father and his mother. So here the story ends, and the story ends here abruptly. In the end, we do not know, or the writer has not disclosed this thing to us, whether the child was able to meet his parents in the end or he was not able to meet his parents. So the story here remains incomplete. Perhaps the writer leaves it on the readers of his story just to guess the end of the story. So this is what this story is all about. I try to explain every paragraph, each line, along with the word meanings also. This video is available in Hindi also on my YouTube channel CBSE Simplified. इस वीडियो का यही चैप्टर जो है हिंदी में भी मेरे ही YouTube चैनल पर अवेलेबल है. तो जो हिंदी मीडियम के छात्र इस वीडियो को देखना चाहते हैं, चैप्टर को समझना चाहते हैं, उनके लिए मैंने हिंदी में भी ये चैप्टर का YouTube पर वीडियो बनाया, अपलोडेड है. अब मैं इसका लिंक कमेंट में अपलोड कर दूंगा, वहां से जाकर आप लिंक को क्लिक करके दूसरे वीडियो को भी देख सकते हैं. प्लीज डू सब्सक्राइब माय चैनल, लाइक, शेयर एंड कमेंट. इफ यू हैव एनी काइंड ऑफ सजेशंस प्लीज लेट मी नो. चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें. थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर वॉचिंग दिस वीडियो एंड यू हैव ए नाइस डे.